Hey guys, it's Marty and welcome to Two Line Slot Cars. This week we got a special box in the mail from George at Area 51 Raceway, and he and Dave Gourley sent me some cars to test. So guys, from the Three Amigos 3D printing, I get to test the new cars. I have the new 55 Chevy with the filament printed chassis inline configuration, running a 20,500K motor in the Area 51 green. How about that? This is a dirt car for the oval, but then this is the new Dodge Challenger Trans Am car. Again, this is a filament printed 3D printed chassis and motor pod, and as you can see, it is in a sidewinder configuration. Now, these are test cars. These are for me to just run around the track and see how they do, kind of push them through their paces before I send them back to George. But I'm really excited to try them out on the big track. We'll see how they run. But we're going to do a breakdown first. I want to kind of dig in, show you what's new about these cars compared to the dirt cars that had before, which those were all resin printed chassis and motor pod and resin printed body. And of course, you guys know that the cool thing about these is how they've designed the interiors to match each car that bolt or mount straight to the chassis. It's really, really cool. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump to the other camera. All right. First, we'll look at the 55 Chevy up close. And this is your dirt car to run on the oval. George has the standard urethane Paul gauge tires that we use for the Showdown. Now remember, this doesn't qualify for the Showdown because it is a 3D printed chassis and those are only brass chassis. But for those of you who want to build an oval car, a dirt track car, but don't want to build a chassis, this chassis is really, really good. Now, there is a lot of pod movement here. George has got some tape on it just to soften that up a little bit. And I'm probably going to play around with this. This is filament printed. And he's using the NSR screws here to hold the body on, the body screws. And then he is using, it looks like the slotted screws for the motor pod. And it's running the standard 27.9 gearing. But I have to say, I'm super impressed with how nice this filament printed chassis looks. Now, I guess I could take this apart. This is the new Challenger. This is the Trans Am cars, running a little different wheel and tire combination. This really is one of the new modern Trans Ams, and this body looks like it just really looks fantastic. They did a nice job. The tires fill the wheel wells just like the Trans Am cars. It looks like George is running a little smaller wheel in the front and a little bigger wheel in the back, urethanes. But this is a sidewinder configuration. So getting away from the inline, this really is made more for the road course. I mean, you can run it on anything, but that they were trying to produce a slot car for the road course. And fully adjustable front end, just like all of the high-performance chassis out there. We got a sidewinder motor pod. And I'm not sure what the purple gear is. I forget what tooth count that is for the Sidewinder, but we'll throw it on the track and see. Now, again, I don't run urethanes on the big track. Grip is going to be a little finicky. Again, NSR screws for the body screws. So if you are looking at, if you were one of the 10 that ordered the initial kits, this is the screws that George used. Looks like the slotted pod screws, and then NSR body screws. So it's got plenty of float. The pod has some good movement. Might be a little too much for my track. So, but I mean, just look at that chassis. It really looks nice. Now I know George has done a bunch of videos about these cars and how they go together. I really do think I want to take one of them apart, and let's take the Dodge apart. Those. So you can see those are the long body screws from NSR. Long screws. All right, here we go. Now we can take a look at the chassis from the inside. And man, that filament printer that George is using really does a nice job. It looks like he's got some spacers here. He was probably just trying to get the stance correct on the body. Looks like there was a spacer on the front too, but it came unglued. We'll have to put that back on. Looking at the body, he has resin glued the interior in. The body, it's got some weight to it. Let's see what it weighs. So the body weighs 55 grams. And the chassis motor weighs 69 grams. So you're talking about a car that weighs right there with the Revo slots. From a weight standpoint, about 110 grams. The chassis just looks fantastic. The printer just did an awesome job. Try to get you up close so you can see it. Some weight right there in the pod. Very nice, guys. Well done. Man, Shotgun Dave did an awesome job designing this. This really looks good. The pod looks good. Seems to work just like you would expect your pod to work. Got a little bit of flex there. So we'll put it back together and get it on the track. Looks like it's running the 22.5 ball bearing motor, which is a super smooth motor. It's one of my favorite motors. And I'm not going to take this one apart, but nice touch. Doing it in green. Like it. Looks like it's got the new slot car corner anodized aluminum wheels. Again, these are test cars. These don't have the windshield, but I know that Dave is making glass for this car, so that will be available in the kit. Let's take them to the track, run some laps, see how they go. Okay, we're going to run these on the oval. Let's clean the tires real good. We're going to run the 55 on the outside lane, the red lane, and let's see how she goes. Oh yeah, picking up really good. Ooh, I'm out of the slot. Yeah, that car's running really good. And a few more. The grip level is coming up on this track. Yeah, that's just a really great performing car. So now let's try this. This is a Sidewinder. A little more powerful motor. Grip could be a problem, but let's see. Not too bad. So probably for my track, I think the 17.5 motor is probably perfect for this track. It doesn't have the long straightaways. The 20,500 works pretty good, but the 18K, 17.5 long can, I think are perfect. It's just not a very big oval. They're small. Okay, yeah, this car is really, it's quick. Seems to be working pretty good. Okay, now I think what we want to do is we want to take it over to the road course and see what kind of laps we can get on the Dodge. Okay, we are on the big track, and I am going to run the Dodge. And I put a set of silicone tires on it, just wheels and tires, just swapped them out because my track likes silicones, but this car might be getting a little too much grip because it's a pretty heavy car. And so I have a feeling that I'm going to be able to like flip this out of the slot if I get too much grip and turn. I can pop the front end up and out of the slot. So we'll see. Again, I'm thinking if we can get like 8.2, 8.3s, we should be in pretty good shape. I think that for this car will be a quick lap, but let's see what we can do. I'm running a lot of brake because of the weight, and it's handling it pretty good. Yeah, I got to get on the brakes or that happens. I do have a good amount of body float, about the maximum I can without the body screws dragging the track, mostly because my tires are a little shorter than the rear tires are a little shorter than what George has on, and so it's allowing the body screws to drag. But you know, the thing's driving. Ooh, there we go. Just gotta drive it. Okay. I just glanced up. I haven't been paying attention to lap times. Just throw it back in the slot, and we'll take a look at some of my lap times with this car. I think I told you I was shooting for 8.3s. I felt like that would be pretty good for this car. And there we go. 7.896, 7.90, and 7.929. That's really good in the sevens. Only my fastest cars get in the sixes, and those are like super lightweight NSR and Thunder Slot, but those are different cars. This is a modern Trans Am car. These are domestic American-made muscle. Ooh. I'm definitely testing whether it can handle some crashes. That's just my poor driving. But, man, I'm right there at the 8 seconds. I don't know if we can get down that 7.8 again while filming. I think that 7.8 came through getting through the S's pretty quick. There's a 7.9. Ooh. 7.9. Man, when I come out, I come out. Ooh, a little tippy there. There we go. Get some good laps. Let's take a look what we are looking at. 7.896, 7.9s, and 7.9s. So we got into the sevens. I'm super happy with that. That's great with that car. Well done, guys. This is. Let's go back to the desk and we'll do. We'll wrap this up. So, guys, there's some track testing with the three Amigos 3D printed slot cars. Great on the oval. Both cars performed really well on my oval. Actually, the 55 probably performed a little better because it's not quite as powerful. The 22.5 motor is probably just a little much for my little oval, but the Dodge still got around it pretty good. Similar lap times, but this was a really easy drive around the oval. These are great cars, guys. Real quick, the 55 weighs in at a total weight of 120 grams, and the Dodge weighs in at 122 grams. And then we took this and put it on the big track. And I did a couple things. I did put a set of silicone wheels and tires on the back, and it gave it a lot of grip. Because it's 122 grams, it had a lot of grip. And I could easily flip this and roll it out of the slot because the rear end really didn't break free. If I could get a little bit of slide out of that, I think that the car could have been faster and fewer D-slots. It's early. I haven't done really any tuning. George tuned this for his track. I'm going to play around with the pod settings and the body float settings. I'm not done messing with this car. I will say that it surprised me on the lap times. We got down into the 7s. We got down to 7.8. That's really good. Fly cars don't run 7.8s on this track. They run in the 8s. Carrera, Electric, those cars aren't even close to that time. So this car kind of runs in the middle of the pack. It's not quite NSRs. It's not quite Thunder slots, but that's not what this car's trying to be. This car's trying to be its own thing. It's a resin printed, 3D printed chassis, Trans Am car, American muscle, and it performs like that. It drives like that, and that's part of the fun. I had a great time driving this car. It is really, really good. I think what I love about it most, some really good friends of mine designed this and printed this and built this. And I'm just happy for these guys, and they don't know where this is going to go. They don't know how popular these cars could be. They really don't know. But all I know is you guys, every time they put something out there, have been great about supporting them. And I thank you for that. And I want to support them too. And I'm just blessed that George keeps sending me stuff to test because I'm having a ball testing the stuff. But quality, this car is quality. The body is great. It looks fantastic. I mean, I think you have a chance of finishing a great slot car in either one of these. I love the dirt cars. Dusty's building one. I'm building one for John Mark, and I'm building one for me so that we can race head to head. And these are going to be a blast on the oval. They're going to be great. Now, this car, I think the same thing. I think if you got a 2-lane track, you get 2 of them and you get them tuned up and you race them together and you're going to have a blast. Maybe there's some other things coming down the road that might race against this. Who knows? We'll wait and see what the guys have to say. But Dave, fantastic design. I am super, super impressed, man. Dave Gourley is a genius when it comes to figuring these bodies and these chassis out, and the design is great. And then, George, he has got his filament printer printing beautifully. This chassis the chassis looks phenomenal. A lot of fun. I'm going to go put some more laps on this because I think it's great. Had to crank my brakes up because it's a fat boy. It's got some weight. It makes it fun to drive. And I think if you had 4 of these on my 4-lane and we ran like an IROC series, man, what fun. So that's what we'll do down the road. But 7.8, that's impressive. Was not expecting it. I was guessing mid-8s, 8.5, 8.3, and we got her down into the 7.8s. Putting the silicones on really improved the performance on my track. You have a wood track, you run urethanes, you've got some nice rubber buildup, which I do not have here. Those urethanes, they'll hook up great. If you get a chance to get one of these, it's a fun build. It's a fun drive. I think you'll enjoy it. It's an American-made muscle Trans Am slot car made by guys that we do life with here in the hobby. And I'm just super proud of them. I'm happy to call them friends. And, Harry, he's behind this too, to Home Racing World. And I know that they are excited about some of the things that they're producing. So go check them out. Go check out Slot Car Corner. See if they post some more of these for sale. And, hit George up at his channel if you have questions. Hit Dave up at his channel if you have questions. They're happy to help however they can. If you like this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you get notified anytime I put out new content. 3 Amigos, 3D printing, Trans Am, Dodge Challenger, modern Trans Am. Fantastic. Guys, go have some fun racing.